Hey guys, my name is Shavik. I'm a second year computer science student at the University of Manitoba. Today I'll be talking about how I use my iPad to take notes for my university. So I'll be categorizing the video into a few different parts. First we'll talk about the different methods in which we can take our notes and how the iPad is kind of like the hybrid way of taking all our notes and storing them digitally. Secondly, we'll talk about the GoodNotes app, which I have personally been using for a couple of years now. And lastly, we'll talk about the general perks and the features and everything about owning an iPad and being a part of the whole Apple ecosystem. The way I see it, there are two main ways in which we can take all our notes. We can either take notes on a computer by typing them down using MS Word or any other note typing app like OneNote or Evernote, or we can do it the more traditional way by using a pen and a paper. But I feel like taking notes on the iPad kind of bridges the gap between them, from storing all our notes digitally and syncing them across all our devices to being completely paperless. So handwriting on notes is in general better, and there's a lot of evidence that handwriting on notes actually increases retention. When you kind of handwrite your notes, you can categorize your ideas better. You can draw arrows and boxes and use colors, which make it easier for all of us to remember things. But the thing is that handwritten notes are really sometimes very difficult to go through. And I have friends who take a lot of their notes on paper and they often complain that they don't look them up as much as they would like to. So you end up having the stacks of paper and folders with PDFs and question banks which you don't really go through, and they're really quite hard to find at times. On the other hand, handwritten notes on the computer is pretty effective. It lets you sync all your notes across devices, and you have a pretty organized way to look at them or search for a certain topic very easily. But then we lose the effectiveness to actually retain as much information when we type our lectures down. We end up having this 10-page document with a lot of detail in it, but all we have done is type down what the lecturer was saying instead of actually memorizing or retaining as much information as we should have. So what the iPad and the Apple Pencil do is they let you categorize these topics really nice, and the overall organization makes it so much easier to actually study and find what you are actually looking for. Some of the apps that I use to take notes on my iPad also have this incredible feature of handwriting recognition that makes it so much easier to actually find information on specific topics or even quickly look up a definition. This sort of makes the iPad a great tool to take notes with without the limitations of the more traditional note-taking methods. The one main disadvantage of the iPad is it is actually quite expensive as a student on a tight budget. But if you're really looking to buy one, maybe for your graduation, stick around for the rest of the video where I'll be telling you how I use the app GoodNote to take notes on my iPad. I have been using the app GoodNotes to take all my university notes for a very long time. I think it costs about $10 in the Apple App Store, which is a very small price to pay for the loads of functionality you actually get with it. So compared to the free softwares like Microsoft OneNote, I feel like this app is much more student-friendly. The multiple tab system and the vast array of colors available to actually take notes is absolutely amazing. GoodNotes also supports Apple's split screen view. So what I often do is I would have my notes on one side of the screen and a PDF or an ebook on the other, and it makes it so much easier to study. So let's talk about lectures. Lectures are a staple to all university courses. Ideally, the best way to take notes would be to go through the PDFs and the handouts given to us by our professors the night before to actually outline the more important details about the next day's topic. But like most students, including me, I don't usually do that. So most of the note-taking tends to happen during a lecture, and I'm going to show you how I actually end up taking my notes during the class. These are some of my notes I took during my marketing class. So as the professor was telling us stuff, I was kind of grabbing the more important information from the lecture and writing them down. This is how it looks to write things down on the screen. You can of course change colors and highlight things that are more important to you, and that in general helps me to stay engaged a little more during my lectures. Otherwise I would just wander off and not focus as much. So as the lecture goes on, this kind of helps me to A, process all the information, and B, write it down in a way that I can actually use it for future reference. Sometimes when the professors would give me a worksheet or a PDF, maybe to study for a midterm or a final, I would often just open it up in the app and annotate it on the go instead of having to print it out or copy down all the questions. So in general, the iPad starts from around $400, which might be a little too steep for students to pay. But the whole idea of getting an iPad is to actually improve your productivity and enhance your workflow. So if it actually improves your note-taking capabilities or makes note-taking a little more interesting for you like it did for me, I feel like it is a pretty good price to pay. I want to thank you for watching this video. If you liked it or found it useful, please leave a like and a comment. Subscribe if you haven't already done so. I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.